Hello everyone, welcome back. So here we are in our third decan in the sign of Gemini. We are rounding out the last 10 degrees of the sign, and we are going to be talking about the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is the minor arcana that is associated with the third decan of Gemini. In the Golden Dawn system, the planetary rulership of this third decan is held with the Sun. The previous reading that I did for Gemini 2, we were looking at Mars and Gemini. So Mars is that fiery energy. It emphasizes the aspect of the intellect of Gemini, how they communicate. And in what manner, Mars being a planet of constant movement and Gemini being ruled by Mercury, that is air and fire. That is a very strong combination. So a lot of movement of the mind, a lot of different ways of expressing thoughts and communicating with all sorts of people for that Mars and Gemini. But here, with the Sun and Gemini, and with the 10 of Swords that we have here, and 10 of Air, this is our dreams of Gaia, that Sun rulership during this last decan, 20-30 degrees in Gemini, the sun is external. It's how we come across to people. It's our mannerisms. It's how we express ourselves. Not necessarily the first house. That's very similar, but with the Sun in Gemini, we see a very strong placement. But what's interesting here is we're using that Sun and Gemini for this third decan, but we're dealing with the energy here. We're dealing with blockages. But also letting go, having that realization. Remember the Nine of Swords in the previous video here. I'm going to show you the card right there. Okay, so it's that awareness of being self-imprisoned with our thoughts and just allowing it to, take control over us and not really doing anything about it. This card, the Nine of Swords, for me, any of the nines in the suits of the minor arcana is basically what choice, what decision, what action, what feeling are you going to take that's going to determine the outcome for the next card, the 10. So anything that may have taken place during that second decan in Gemini, which was ruled by Mars. Okay, remember that Marsian energy, lots of movement. We have to turn that energy around. We need to move from this to start opening up the space that we see here. Okay? So that Sun, that awareness, the Sun is vital energy. The Sun is very transformative in a different way of transformation than the Moon. The Moon transforms us internally. The Sun transforms us externally. So this is the outcome of choices, actions that we took with that previous decan, with that Nine of Swords. Okay, now I'm not going to pay attention to these keywords here that we have here, black and clouded. That is the potential if you decide to just stick in that situation and not really change the direction of how you see things. Okay, remember I was saying the 9 and all the suits can represent what's going to be the final outcome. The nines and the suits are just giving you that direction. It's like, okay, this is how things are. What are you going to do about it? Okay, so that's what we have here. The 10 of Swords is, and this is from the Crow's Magic Tarot, which is the deck I'll be working with for the month of Gemini. And I may use it for the Decans in Cancer. I have to see how things work out. So this is the freedom. We're seeing the space. We're seeing the potential. Okay, so with the eagle here, the eagle represents wisdom. It's seeing whatever the situation is that may have been holding you back, taking that realization and trusting it and go, you know what? Let's do this. Let's make this change. I'm tired of being, blocked in, caged in, imposed by myself or through the environment that you're in. Let's move. Let's release this. So if there's any blockage that's been going on, this is the time to do it. Okay, the third decan of Gemini runs from June 10th to June 11th to the 21st. The 10th, 11th, or 21st, but this I'm going to do for the 11th of June to the 21st. So use that 10 days, use that time frame to really start releasing the mind. Give the space. Okay, and also look at our background. Okay, things are opening up. There's a sense of release here. And that's something that we need to have. Excuse me. The next card, here's the Gill Tarot. And I will be doing readings like this, showcasing different decks, so you can see the different perspectives. Gotta drink some water here. So that we can see the different perspectives of similar suits. Okay. Again, 10 here with the Gill Tarot. We're seeing desolation. And behind this will, again, is, do we want to stay in this background? Okay, we have the horizon, we have the potential, and the same here with the 10 of Swords. The growth is there, the potential's there. But do we really want to remain? Do we want to stay stuck in our ways? It's very important with these decan readings to really be honest with yourself and seeing what's going on at this time. Are you ready for a change? Are you ready to change your perspective? Are you ready to think differently? Are you ready to communicate differently? Are you ready to engage with different people to change this? Okay, this is again from the Gill Tarot. And we're seeing the fractured state of this number 10. How much longer are we going to continue being in that environment? Fractured mind. It's starting to splinter. It's starting to weaken. If you continue like that, let's start making this change. And this is where the dreams of Gaia comes in. This is 10 of air. And using the dreams of Gaia to sort of see a different perspective. Look at the lightness that's in here. We have the colors of air. We have like blue, yellow, pink. Everything is light. Everything is open. We have the butterflies here, representing transformation. We have the all-seeing eye. That third eye relates to our spiritual psyche. And this is what we need to have to be cleaned. If we don't have this lightness here, we just go back to this. I'm going to show you here. Swords with the Gill Tarot. Okay, so look how different the energy is. Here with the 9, I mentioned it in the previous video. We see the light. We have this sword here that's beaming. This could be our full moon giving us the direction. But this is a choice that we make. We're walking past this. So if we can get past all of that and make the proper choice to let go, free the mind. Now, this goes without saying that there are different states of mental health that's out there. Okay, tarot readings can only go so far, and especially when we're working with Gemini, where we're dealing with communication and making sure that we are understanding what we're seeing, what we're feeling, what we're expressing with someone else. Put yourself in an environment, everyone who has maybe a birthday during this third decan, and happy birthday to all the Gemini third decans out there for this week. But you know, if we're in a situation where there is an imbalance of how things are being expressed, communicated, there's going to be blockages, and Gemini really needs to have that understanding of the issue that could be holding them back, for understanding. They're also very curious minded, so they would like to learn and understand about maybe someone's issue. But at the same time, Gemini, it's also very important to kind of hold back. You have the right place. You want to learn, you want to understand. But when it comes to the emotional part of this, we need to give space, and let the person process. You may have all these ideas and ways of seeing to remedy a situation, and you want to express that, but try not to push it too much. Okay, remember that Sun in Gemini is that vitality. You want to be there, you want to be supportive, and that's all good, but let's give space. Okay, let's bring some lightness into the situation and not be too overwhelming with how we want to help people and how you may want to direct people. Give them some guidance and let the individual figure out what steps are needed. Try not to be there all the way to hold their hand, because that's not something that I think is of good service. People need to really understand how to support themselves on their own. They can have people to talk to, but not to have them make choices for them. Okay, and that could be something that Gemini could easily fall into, so we need to be mindful of that. Okay, so that's my PSA about interacting with different forms of mental issues. So give the space that someone needs, and if someone needs professional help, let them go and seek the help that they need. Okay, all right, so let's do a reading. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to pull one card to follow up with this, with the 10 of Swords, and here we have the sign of Gemini. Okay, and I want to emphasize too, this doesn't mean, even though you may be born with this minor arcana card for this particular deck, and doesn't mean that all Geminis for this week of June 20th, June 10th to the 21st, that they are like this. Okay, I feel when cards come up like this during certain decans, this is something that I feel the sign can actually work through. It's almost like this is their challenge, and this is what they can do to work through it. Okay, but they also have to be mindful not to get lost in the thoughts. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right into the reading. So again, I'm going to pull one card from the Crow's Magic, and then from the Gill Tarot, just to follow up with this energy. And then and then to see how we can balance this energy out with the dreams of Gaia. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the Ten of Swords out there for each of these cards. Okay, and let's see what we get here, and this will be the reading for all the signs. As I mentioned in my previous video, I've been feeling a calling to return to doing my Decan readings. So I won't be doing the elemental signs. It was just starting to get a little bit too much of doing all these readings and breaking them down elementally, and I just feel more comfortable with doing the Decans. So this reading can be applied to, again, it's Gemini, specifically the third Decan, but if your moon, sun, and rising's Gemini, you can use this reading as guidance as well. Okay, so I am shuffling off to the side here. The Crow's Magic. Okay, so I'll do a card from the top. Seven of Coins. I think this card came up in the previous reading. Okay, so let's do this. And let me go ahead and let's shuffle. Sorry, did not mean to hit the camera. Alrighty. So let's leave this here. Do it like this, right on top of the feather. Alrighty. Okay, so next up is the card for our Gill Tarot. Let's move this up so you can see. Interesting, Taurus and Gemini, because we were just in Taurus. Okay, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle here. Oops. One more. Alrighty. I'm going to pull differently here. Let's see what we have here. Ah, okay, so here. Okay. Don't worry, this is not going to be an interpretation of despair, but this is how the guides are directing the energy right now for this week. Could be potential struggle for some, but just to move through it. Sometimes we have to let go. You know, we have to lose parts of ourselves so that we can, you know, acknowledge this kind of energy. Okay, our next card here, Dreams of Gaia. So this is more of the cosmic, universal card for this third Decan. Okay, so that's 10 of air. The Dreams of Gaia works with the elements. All right, let me see if I can move this so it's not so glary. Okay. All right, just bear with me with that glare on the 10 of Swords there. And here, let's do this. Alrighty. Okay, this card feels water. Okay, so that's 3 of water. So we have different elements here. No fire, but we have earth, air, water. So let's just focus here on the reading. And I like the movement here, the direction. I like moving, we're looking to our right. Our right's the masculine side, the masculine force, the energy. Seven of Coins, okay, for this Ten of Swords here. Movement. Yeah, I believe this card did come up in the last reading. Focusing our energy, being productive. You know, when you have this Ten of Swords here and we're seeing that potential for growth, this is now time to move and let go of what's happening, or what has happened. Okay. I think with the Seven of Coins, I'm feeling really strongly that this energy is telling us we have this opportunity now. Now, since things have opened up, let's go and start producing things. Let's start going back to a place that was very important to you. What do you want to focus on? Or what were you focusing on until things may have been sidetracked? Okay. So this is an opportunist card. Okay, so when you have this clarity, when you have this space that's opening, remember here with the eagle, I'm feeling more eagle than anything else here. Use this knowledge, knowing what's out there and what you can move forward in. Okay, so with the Seven of Coins, let's move forward. Gemini's air, it's mutable, so it can work under, the energy can work under various environments, even challenging. The more challenging it is for Gemini, I think, that actually, it actually triggers the multitaskness of Gemini. And they like to do a lot of different things at the same time. So I think this is a best place to be in with this energy here, the Ten of Swords. Okay, and it's interesting, we have movement here of the mind, but now look at this. If we transfer that movement of conflict and opening it up, we can start seeing benefits. All right, so here with the Gill Tarot, okay, don't fret. Okay, there's always the good and the bad when it comes to the cards in the tarot. Okay, this is just a reminder, this is just a challenge that with here, okay, with our Ten of Swords here, desolation, I'm feeling like we do have to take a sacrifice. What is, during this time period, during this third decan, what are we willing to let go of? Okay, remember here. Okay, we have to release. A loss is something that we have built an attachment to. And being that we're dealing with an air sign, it's a mental attachment. The way of doing things normally, almost karmic thinking, patterns. We have to start letting go of that, okay, to get to this place here. Okay, so what are you willing to, you may not see it as a sacrifice, but what are you willing to let go of to get to this place so that you can move forward? And I like this here because we have the point of the sword. We're letting go. We have the Four Swords here. They're done. We have the Fifth Sword. We can use that opportunity, that potential that we have. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do with it? And where are we going to take it? Okay. But we do have to let go. We have to release patterns that we have. Different ways of thinking and seeing things. Let it go so that we can get to this place. So let's follow this direction here. We have the sword going up. We had the Seven of Coins. Everything's moving right. Everything's in an energy flow. This is Three of Water. A beautiful card to kind of emotionally start feeling. We start seeing the earthiness here of movement and investment into something that we really need to stay focused on. We're letting go of karmic way of thinking and old habits, mental habits, and then we start getting this emotional connection. We get this 3 of water. And what's beautiful here is, this is actually one of my favorite cards, we see the individual. It's feminine energy. Any ties that were binding are now gone. Everything starts feeling lighter. Okay, here, look at the lightness here. Okay, but now that emotional liberation, or spiritual, mental liberation that we're feeling, is now moving down to our heart. It's starting to move into our emotions, into our intuition. And that's something that is just so important. So this is a wonderful reading because this shows the outcome of the mind feeling that lightness, feeling that it has a clearer sense and direction of where it wants to go, and emotionally we start feeling. And that's something that we're always working through, consciously or subconsciously. We're trying to have that balance of happiness in the heart, but also rational and clear thinking of the mind. There's always that imbalance. There's going to be more of the mind thinking and the heart not feeling as much, or maybe the heart feeling too much, and the mind not really coming in at the right time to create that balance that's needed. So that's what we have here for our reading for this third decan, from June 11th to the 21st. Actually really nice. But there's the work. We have to do the work. We have to come to the realization of, of how things are. And are you willing to let go so that we can get to this space? Okay, this is where the work's going to come in. Okay, let's break the habit of all old ways. And let's start moving, okay? Let's start moving forward and being energetic and productive once we get past this. Okay, so for any Gemini third decans, if you are having a challenging time, be kind to yourself. I say this with all my readings. Be kind to yourself and allow the space that you need. Okay, give yourself time, but if you want to work within the decans and within that 10-day time period, you could do the work. Start applying it. Start seeing the light. Okay? Start looking at the space. We all have the wisdom. It's just a matter of tapping into it. Okay? And again, what are we going to sacrifice? And once that sacrifice, those 4 swords are down, we see, we get the emotional feelings. We start intuitively connecting and feeling what's the best way to go. Alrighty, so that wraps up our decans. I know I skipped the first decan. I want to stay in line with the timing of doing these readings. So come Cancer, which will take us during, actually, this will be during the summer solstice, Litha. This will be from, let me look at my notes here so I get the correct decan. Cancer, first Cancer, is going to be June 21st, 22nd to June 30th, 31st. So come back on the 21st, but come back sooner because I'll be posting more, some more content for you to listen and watch. That's when I'll be doing the next reading. So for Cancer 1, it'll be June 21st, 22nd during the summer solstice. I will also be doing a live summer solstice Litha to usher in the longest day of the year here in the northern hemisphere, and then our days we start getting shorter slowly. We won't start seeing the days getting shorter until probably August. And so Cancer will be from June 21st to July 21st. All right, any questions that you may have regarding this reading for the third decan Gemini, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm available for readings. All the information's in the description. And I'm going to put the cards back like this so you can just visualize. Another thing I encourage is for those who watch any of my recordings is if you have a deck that resonates with you, pull out these cards and see how they speak to you. Okay? And you can use my message as guidance for you. Maybe get some further insight about maybe a specific situation that you're in. This is general, so this applies to all the signs, specifically more for the sun, moon, and rising in Gemini, but this can apply to all of the signs and all the elements. Alrighty, have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this, and the next decan reading will be in about 10 days, so I will see you then, but hopefully I will see you sooner. Alright, feel free to subscribe, let people know about this channel if you like the readings, if you like the energy that's coming from this channel. It is greatly appreciated. The support is always welcome. So thank you for taking the time and listening and watching this reading here for our last decan in Gemini. All right, take care, everyone. I will see you all again very, very soon.